Today, friends, on this sixth Sunday of Easter, we hear in the readings, in the gospel, we hear about love, we hear about obedience, and we hear about the promise to be with us, not to abandon, not to leave us as orphans. And Peter, in the second reading, reminds us to always, by our response to that love, prove the reasons for our hope in God. So today I invite you to imagine with me a 3 or 4-year-old child taking a walk with the mom. Sometimes you notice the child walking hand in hand with the mom, holding hands with the mom and enjoying the path. Some other times you see the child lag behind, probably got distracted by what is lying on the ground, or admiring that cookie on the shelves in a store. And then the mom will beckon the child to come forward. Sometimes you see the child also run further than the mom, probably just to catch fun or to try out things or to get excited to experiment or to see how it looks like to run further than the mom. And we see the mom too beckon on the child to come in order not to fall into danger or to be hit by a car or a bicycle in this time of too many bicycling on the roads. Sometimes also we see the child get tired. The child get tired and the mom had to carry the child. And the child run to the open arms of the mom to be carried because the journey has become too tiring. So friends, this practice or this imagination or scenario reflects our journey with Jesus. It reflects our journey with Jesus. Like the mother of the child, we hear Jesus today says that I will not leave you as orphans. I'll take my home in you and with you, which means I'm always sensitive, noticing when you lag behind, noticing when you run further, and noticing when you get tired. So today, the gospel reminds us of the connection between love and obedience. The gospel says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And we, my Father, the community of the Trinity, we come to live with you. Like the child that loves the mom enough to hear the voice, to hear when the mom says, come back, you are drifting away. Come back, you will run into danger. And the child comes running back to the mom to enjoy that security, that protection that comes from the love the mom has on the child, that makes her always and all the time look out for the child. Here Christ makes a promise not to leave us orphans, but to love, to walk always with us hand in hand, if we will let him. But he promises that even when we lag behind, as we see in this story of the child and the mom, that he will wait for us. That even when we run farther than necessary, that he will call us back. And when we get tired, that he will carry us. Therefore, friends, today the church invites us in this time that life has become so tiring to reflect on a couple of things. In this story of the mom and the child, when the child gets tired, he runs back to the open arms of the mom. The question for us, for you and I, is When life becomes so tiring, who do we run to? Do we run to the open arms of God, who always sees us out even when we lag behind, when we get distracted by the worldly things or paying attention to things that do not matter? Do we run back to the open arms of God? When we run further and he calls us back, do we choose to run back to him or to run to ourselves, to run to ourselves in fear? When we get tired, who do we run to? Do we run to the open arms of God in hope, or do we run to despair, depression, dejection, or rejection? Do we run to hopelessness or in fear instead of running to the open arms of God? It's something for us to think about today. The child runs back, obeys the voice of the mom for the love that he or she knows that the mom has for him. And he runs back to that protection, to that care, to that hope that the mom will not abandon him, even when by his own choice decided to lag behind, by his own choice decide to run further. And then Peter reminds us to always do our best to show the hope we have in God, to show the hope we have in God. So today we pray that as we begin to think about transitioning into what will become the new normal, to the realization of the phase one and what that brings, the fear, the uncertainty, the suspicion, and all those that come with not knowing what the phase one will bring. Christ is today leaving his arms open for us to come back to him, to run to him in this life that sometimes becomes so tiring, so challenging, so overwhelming, that we develop this attitude like the child who is not afraid of what the mom will say because he had lagged behind or ran further than the mom or than necessary, that we run back to God in hope and faith, knowing that Christ is always true to his words, that he has chosen to love us, hoping that by our obedience to his words, to his commandments, that we can give reasons for the hope we have in God, who alone saves, who alone heals. So we pray, asking for the grace to always find the courage to return back to God, to find hope in him, to run back to him instead of running back to ourselves. Sometimes our lives that are filled with fear and despair and depression, that we run back to the one who knows us and to the one who loves us unconditionally.